The 1998 Texaco Grand Prix of Houston was the 17th of 19 races in that year's kart season. The 11-turn street course laid out around downtown Houston's George R. Brown Convention Center would host the city's first street race, but things wouldn't go as smoothly as people hoped. Heavy rain would delay the start of the race by over 30 minutes, but the race would still take place that day. Greg Moore would start this race in pole position, with Dario Franchitti in second. Vincenzo Sospiri in his second race in the series would be the slowest qualifier, starting 27th. Michael Andretti was initially set to start the race in 13th, but steering issues would essentially end his day before it even started, with him pitting multiple times during the formation laps, and eventually retiring from the race on lap 2. With a wet start and more weather on the way, the race was pretty much guaranteed to be a timed race, and sure enough, those predictions came true. With a single file start thanks to the poor visibility, chaos would immediately rear its ugly head. Gilles de Ferran was the first victim of the treacherous conditions, spinning out in turn 1, whipping the car around before pinching Brian Herta into the wall. Herta stalled as Gilles continued on, only to spin a few corners later. Alonso Jr. also spun in turn 1, while Dennis Vitolo actually spun on the formation laps. Dario Franchitti would almost immediately take the lead from Greg Moore, with Moore dropping back to third behind Franchitti and Paul Tracy. With the chaos throughout the field, the first caution of the race would come out, but just a few laps of yellow later, we would get our first restart and yet another incident. This time it was pole sitter Moore going for a spin in turn 3. Christian Fittipaldi would try and go to the inside but had nowhere to go as Moore rolled back. Fittipaldi would hit Moore and then the wall, giving both of them damage that brought their races to an end. In just 5 laps, both Newman Haas cars would be out of the race. A very disappointing performance in more ways than one. Both Texaco Haviland cars were out in the sponsor's home race, a fact made even worse when you realized that Carl Haas was the race's promoter. For the next restart, it was still Dario Franchitti and Paul Tracy completing a Team Green 1-2, and Jimmy Vasser and Alex Zanardi completing a Ganassi 3-4. The restart was surprisingly clean, minus a spin and stall for Andre Ribeiro. Despite losing radio comms, Alex Zanardi was still a force to be reckoned with early on, but the fastest car on track by far was Dario Franchitti, who was anywhere from 1.4 to 2 seconds a lap quicker than Zanardi. Just a handful of laps of green flag action gone by, and yet another incident would take place. Robbie Gorin would go for a pretty airheaded move down the inside of Michel Jourdain Jr., pitching the Mexican into a spin and blocking the track at turn 11. Eventually, the race would be red flagged to fix the track blockage. With a stoppage like this, I think there's no better time to thank Omaha Steaks. They didn't send me a dime, and they're not sponsoring this video. I was just having some of their caramel apple tartlets while watching the race. After roughly 17 minutes under the red flag, the cars would get back to a slowly but surely drying track. Despite the track drying, Franchitti was still in a groove, pulling away from both teammate Tracy and the Ganassi duo. By lap 20, he was already about 7 seconds clear of Zanardi in third. But it was around lap 20 when Mark Blundell came into the pits for slick tires. The move wouldn't work out, as he was about 12 seconds a lap slower than Dario Franchitti at first. In just a half a dozen laps, however, their lap times were pretty much identical. Right as the likes of Alex Zanardi and Gilles de Ferran came in for slicks, the rain came back, albeit very slightly. Despite that, the track was still drying, and as the sun came out, Franchitti came in for slicks too. After the pit stops, the battle at the front was getting spicy. Franchitti and Tracy were pretty much on top of each other as they went through the lap traffic. They were nose to tail when another full course yellow came out. It was Patrick Carpentier who had just buried his Reynard into the tire barrier of turn 11. Around the same time, Bobby Rahal, Elio Castroneves, and Gilles de Ferran would retire from the race, while Andre Ribeiro spun under yellow. At this point, the race was certainly going to be a timed affair, and with the green flag coming out again, both the overcast skies and the battle at the front would make their return. After a few attempts at a pass, Franchitti pulled away again, but as soon as the Scotsman grew a comfortable lead, an incident for Dennis Vitolo brought out another full course yellow. The incident was cleaned up very quickly, leading to a restart just a couple laps later. Dario was trying to get away yet again, but the dawdling Dennis Vitolo would hold up Franchitti, giving Tracy a great chance to catch up. Tracy knew he didn't have much time left, so he went for it down the inside of turn 1. Tracy would lose control and then hit the inside wall, breaking his left front suspension. Had things just gone slightly different, the incident would have likely taken both green cars out of the race. Tracy would then pull the car into the pits, with Tracy immediately hopping out. He'd then try and talk with team owner Barry Green, but a shoving match then ensued. It's not often in racing that you get to see a fight between a driver and boss, but the fans in Houston that day saw one of them. As the laps ticked away and the clock ran down, the rain came back. Soon enough, the umbrellas in the grandstands came up, the rain popped up on the cameras, and eventually the lightning came too. The drivers soon came in for wet tires, but despite the whole field being on rain tires, it was still too much. With the lightning becoming more of a problem, visibility dropping to a matter of feet and inches, and even more adverse weather on its way, the full course yellow would come out on lap 68. After just a few laps under the full course yellow, the checkered flags would fall after just 70 of the scheduled 100 laps. Dario Franchitti would grab his third win of the season, winning the inaugural Texaco Grand Prix, with Alex Zanardi coming in second, and Tony Kanaan grabbing the podium. Kanaan's third place would help him clinch the 1998 Kart Rookie of the Year award. Dario's performance in this race was fantastic, leading from start to finish despite everything that happened in this race. If you want a race with high drama, interesting strategy, and would like to see pretty much the best kart has to offer in terms of racing product, this is a race for you. And thanks to the fact that it was only an hour and a half long, it doesn't feel like the race drags on forever. Check this race out if you get the chance. I don't think you'll regret it. Thank you for watching, and have a great afternoon.